Once in a while, everybody likes a good movie, right? Whether you're an MCU fan, an unfortunate DCEU fan, or somebody who likes to enjoy the rare occurrence of peak fiction, movies allow us to experience various stories on a cinematic scale. That of course applies to anime movies as well. While movies like Your Name and Sword of the Stranger are original works that have etched their name into anime history, there is also the existence of the mainstream shonen movies. Alongside their anime adaptations, the shonen genre has developed a formula to create these original events that essentially take place either in between arcs of a series or a certain time placement. This can be determined depending on the outfits and moves our characters display. The OG Naruto movies do a pretty good job with this one. Movies like The Land of Snow had young Sasuke in it, so you knew it was before the retrieval arc, and yet the Crescent Moon Kingdom had Rock Lee making up for that extra person post the retrieval arc. For the longest time, shonen movies were pretty much the fun fan service films that introduced a lot of unique team-ups you would not see normally in the anime and movie exclusive elements that typically you would not see in the manga. A lot of those unique elements would mainly be the shonen protagonist movie power boost that would only last for the final act of the movie. Naruto's Rainbow Rasengan, Ichigo's unique Hollow-type transformations, and Deku and Bakugo's one-for-all transfer all fall in this category. A general conclusion about shonen movies is that they are supposed to be really fun. You don't have to worry about something being dangerously retcon or character regression, and you typically just get to watch a lot of the characters do cool stuff on the big screen. The most important thing though being the majority of these movies aren't canon, a notion that for the longest time was the case, that is until the recent years of anime. These days, the shonen genre has begun to gradually capitalize on the idea of canon shonen movies, or the including of canon elements within them that can be a bit controversial depending on what's said or done. On one hand, this sounds pretty hype, right? I mean, if it's canon, you gotta go see it, right? And it only continues the story while also providing an animation crazy finale. Gintama did it with their finale movie, and recently we had JJK Volume 0. However, there is a bit of a concern with this gradual lean towards canon movies. Let's rewind to some very recent news. So in case you are out of the loop, Haikyuu is getting a two-part movie animating the next canon events of the story, meaning the match versus Nakoma and beyond will be taken to the big screen with the best practices provided by Production IG. Now, being anime only, I thought it was pretty hype at first, that is until learning the story still has 100+ chapters left. This led to everyone starting to point fingers at Demon Slayer. Mugen Train was an insane success to the point where it saved Japan's economy during the height of the pandemic, and it did big numbers overseas as well. From a business standpoint, however, this can only lead to one thing: to capitalize on more movies, especially if there's an opportunity that can lead in the canon direction. Now, in retrospect, canon movies itself aren't a bad idea. Though the availability issue sucks and a universal global release will be the ideal situation, things like endings to a series or prequels are not inherently bad. Volume 0 was the prequel to the main series and gave us a proper introduction to Yuta. The Evangelion Rebuild series gave us the official sayonara for the series and the alternate ending that left people overwhelmed with emotion. Even the Boruto movie kinda kicked off the series. However, when you try to crunch a bunch of chapters in movies, people begin to worry. Now don't get me wrong, I expect both movies to be good and for us to have another season after it. The thing is though, will these movies do the source material justice? A question that nobody will be able to answer until we see it, but even so, the trend itself is concerning. I'm pretty sure Haikyuu fans would have rather had another season than a movie overall. There are so many emotional moments and impactful things that might happen that might not be as fleshed out as much in comparison to a season because movie runtime simply exists. I think these movies need to stick to a certain guideline of either non-canon fun, conclusions, or prequels. When people hear the word canon and it's not any of the ideas I just talked about, the word crunch comes to mind. I have no idea if even 2 movies is enough to get everything presented nicely. Sure, a lot of the stuff going on is a volleyball match inciting a lot of action and movement, but what about the moments that make you feel in Haikyuu? Will those moments be given enough care as much as the matches are? Because if not, folks are gonna be upset. I don't know if pointing fingers at Demon Slayer is the fairest thing to do, but the industry is greedy. They will do what they can to make money whether it hurts the series in retrospect or not, which takes our conversation to the next topic. As shonen movies continue, the timing of their events need to be very careful as well. When we look at My Hero Academia, this has probably been the most controversial situation yet. Each movie has happened between 2 separate seasons. Movie 1 being between season 2 and 3, movie 2 being between season 4 and 5, and movie 3 being pre-season 6 but during the Endeavor Agency arc within season 5. Because of this, there has been a big question on whether or not these movies are canon, and which my response is, I am not fucking getting into it. The thing about these movies too is that they also have elements that make their way back into the manga in different ways. The Gauntlet and Stars and Stripes from movie 1 and then Hori's comment about movie 2's ending in regards to the main series ending might also make its way back into the fray, especially with the recent events with Bakugo. However, when you look at One Piece, it is in a much safer space because these events take place independently after each arc while having some tidbits of canon stuff in there every now and then. Film Stampede and Film Red having just a tiny nod in some canon context, but nothing too crazy that will make it controversial. Heck, Dragon Ball is going back and making some characters canon. I would not be surprised if after the latest superhero movie that Cooler or BoJack were up next. There is no doubt that money is on the mind when these movies are greenlit. However, what they adapt and how much they adapt in terms of canon content and the insertion of canon elements in non-canon movies are very important things needed to always be taken into account. Do I think shonen movies should stop? Absolutely. Absolutely not. They are a great way to celebrate your series and also a good reason to catch up with friends as well. I do believe, however, when it comes to canon content, it is something that should not be normalized. If anything, do a canon prequel via manga source material or endings of a series. Arcs becoming animated in movies should not become the norm for the sake of pacing especially. And if you absolutely positively just have to animate an arc, then let it be short enough to where it can fit perfectly in a movie length without anything being rushed or left out and things feeling concrete. Either way, I'm looking forward to the Haikyuu movies, and hopefully when I look back on this video someday, it will be the case where any worrying was for nothing. That's pretty much it from me though. As always, thank you for watching, and feel free to let me know your ideas of canon content shonen movies or just shonen movies in general in the comment section down below. Stay cool out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video.